Like I said, I'm 5'10", and I made so even standing on the wood, my head will hit. But just stepping through, I'm like, think.
How did you do it? Think.
Wink. Wink.
Now we lay them rocks in there.
And okay, so I got the first notch done over on the B post. So that is the front right corner, and that's the notch for the header, which is this guy here that my saw's sitting on. But now I need to do basically the same thing. So the other front corner is post A. I know. Why would you do B first? I don't know, Anson. I just did. So let me show you how I got this notched out. Anyway, I got my lines, got my line there. Now this frame, okay, so I came down 3.5 inches, and then the thickness of that support header is 2.5 inches down. Which I don't think, is this even square? Yeah, it's square. All right. That's my waist. This is my waist. I want to make another one of these, the timber type sawhorses. If you guys haven't watched that video, you should definitely go check it out. Because for one, it's a little bit wider than what my other sawhorse is. Oh man, that was a horrible line, Anson. Trying to draw with the grain. It wanted to follow the grain. But anyway, the top of this is wider than my other horse. And I'm trying to fit everything on that little tiny sawhorse over there. You can see, like everything's kind of crammed up over there a lot more than over here. But I'll get another one built one of these days. All right, so this is the waist, and then I also want to put a line on my end grain coming down. Then let's see if those lines match up. Hopefully they do. Nope, off a hair, so I know something is not lining up perfectly. Let me see. Oh, I guess that other edge is not very flat, because they do line up, just my line wasn't straight. And then from here, this is where I do the handy dandy little trick of holding your saw upside down. Because now it's going to follow that kerf on top and bottom. And let the saw do the work. I do like to go from both sides just to make sure that it's not walking on me on the line. Plus the saw on this side is always going to cut a lot faster than on this side. If I had my other saw sharpened, then it would make much faster work of that cut. All right, now we come back up here on the top. Kind of same as what I did before. Just get in here and you start right in the corners. Just establishing that kerf on both sides. And you can always too lay this down on its side, like I said, just to kind of help, because if you've already established that kerf on the top, and actually let me move you over here to the other side to where you can actually see the line side. Almost there. And you just come back in and you clean that up with the chisel right there at your angle. And then boom, all done. All right, so for these, I have actually not cut these down to length yet. The reason being is because this is the front, right? So this would actually, I'd be looking down at it of where I'm standing basically from the top of the building. So this is the front left corner, or sorry, front right corner, front left corner over here. And so this is my B post. And I'm actually gonna have another board going that way. So going from B back down to the D post. I will bring this over some, an inch or so. That way I can notch out this other post halfway here, and then also leave like a stub tenon here. That way I can attach, you know, those this way. So if this is a 5 foot from this face to the other face, I will just subtract 2 inches on either side. I got a staple right there. I was wondering what was scratching me. And then that will leave me a 1 inch gap on that. And then if I'm going from 5 foot the other way, it'll still be a 5 foot board. It will have a notch cut out of it for this down here. But I also need to make another notch onto this post to accommodate for the other beam going the other way. Alright, so I already got some posts in, one of the side beams in. Really haven't been recording a whole lot on this part because you got these two over here making a whole bunch of noise. Cleaning out the old water buffalo. So when they're done, I'll go back to recording a little more. Alright, I finally got the last board cut. That's the one that actually comes over here on the side. So like this one, I've already got it installed along with the posts, which I mean the posts they still move around. They have screws down at the bottom and their brackets, but they're still movable. That way I can get that up there, because as long as this is getting lined up, I know that it's going to be, you know, fairly square. And same thing. So now I'm going to put that one that I just finished over here to kind of do the same thing, and then we'll be able to put the front and the backs in. Alright, main frame is up. So I still got the other posts I need to make for the other side of the door. And then some cross bracing, just to kind of sturdy it up a little bit. And then I can start putting in the furring strips, because for right now, I'm probably just going to utilize some of the cedar planks that I got from the Bearded Carpenter, just to cover this up. Unless we can come across some wood to do, because eventually we want to do board and batten. So, but I need to use what we got for now, and then change it out later. So, but that'll be tomorrow, or at least for me it'll be tomorrow. For you guys it'll be like. So now it's the next day, and I need to get the braces and stuff cut up, and then also the post for the left side of the door. So without further ado, let's get to work. All right, so coming over here to the main structure, I have my other door, or the other frame to the door is basically going to go right here. And there you see, and that's coming up. So kind of how I did the joinery here, I'm going to have to notch in, because I'm going to have this post basically the same orientation as it goes, because it's 5.5 inches wide that way, 3.5 wide that way. Okay, so as it comes up, I'm going to have to make a notch in it like that. That will allow it to sit, you know, under this, but then also on the back side. And then I'll have to use either a longer screw or actually bolt those together. But as of right now, everything just has, you know, a few screws in it, which I'll probably come through and put a few more, and even possibly a couple nails. And then I still need to screw in or nail in the bottoms as well, because you know, for the shear, right, nails are a little stronger than screws. They don't break as easy. But so we'll go through, and then obviously I'm still digging a hole as well, but I'll probably end up doing that off camera, or even doing that as like a time lapse, because I got to dig the hole and then trench all the way to over yonder. All right. Measure twice, cut once. Alright, so just like the other stuff, I got this one notched out. Now, seeing how I know that I still need to adjust my saw. This saw does have an adjustment down here in the bottom. So this unlocks it, allows you to move it left and right to get your angled cuts. Well, it has, if you look down here, there's a little pin that will stop whenever it hits this arm. And that's what allows it to be, you know, micro adjusted for that stop right at 90 degrees. So mine needs to be adjusted, and I've adjusted it a couple times already, and I haven't gotten it fine tuned. So whenever I'm cutting, it cants out the blade just a little bit this way, and it's not following the line. So that's why a majority of all these cuts I've been doing by hand. And that's okay, because it works for the rough cuts of things, and then also cutting these down to a little bit thinner areas, even though it leaves a little bit of a ridge when cutting from both sides. And that's perfectly fine, because it's for this project, I'm not looking for, you know, that to be perfect. It's okay if it's a little rough around the edges. So. All right, so I haven't made it actually back to town to get the bracket that I needed, so I just put it in like that. It'll be okay. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, this is all pressure treated timber, so technically I didn't need to use the brackets on any of the corners either. I just was using it more for ease of being able to put it together, I guess, by myself. But even using the brackets, I still needed Gladys's help to get some of those in. But anyway, that part's in. So now I'm going to cut some braces, kind of like said, but over there. So I think I have plenty, because even some of this I'm going to be ripping up into like furring strips and other 2x4 type stuff, because obviously we want to be able to insulate this, but I need to build a wall system on the inside. But I don't want to do that with big timbers. So instead of going to buy 2x4s, I'm just going to make them, but I'll just use my straight skill saw for that. I don't care, you know, if it's not going to be 100% straight or looking pretty or whatnot, because I also need to have timbers for the roof. But then if needed, I still have the pallets over yonder ways that I can always take some of the wood from that as well. I like using that wood for other things, because that's actually oak. They use the oak timbers to make that pallet. And yeah. But all right, let's get cracking. Alright, so obviously doing it with the saw and with my hand saw, it leaves a little bit of that, so I'll actually break up the power planer, because the kerf on my circular saw is a lot thicker than my hand saw. So I'll break out the power planer, like I said, and just hit that quick. But One of them came out smooth. All right, so we got all of the bracing in, and let me tell you, it really it sturdies it up. I'm not even going to worry about putting anything towards the top, but I am going to have to make a frame for the roof. I'm just coming up basically 2 feet on this side. Everything's going to be sloped down towards the back, and then yeah, I might even put like another little overhang this way after the fact, just to kind of help with, you know, water staying off the door itself. And then yeah, so I do want to put some type of framing in here as well, because obviously we're going to be getting insulation, and that insulation needs someplace to go other than just there. So, but I'm gonna have to cut up a lot more of this, probably as close to 2x4 as possible. Where these come, I'll just have another footer here, and then just fill in basically this whole thing like that. And then down here at the bottom, I can just shove insulation into those little areas. But all right, it's looking good. So let's get to ripping up some more lumber. So I moved over here to the shed because I'm actually going to be making a little wall kicker to go right here in the front for the roof to be slanted down. And this board was really bent. So what I did is I came over here, pre-drilled a hole, drilled a long lag screw through it down to the deck, and it kind of straightened it out. I mean, it's still a little crooked, but I'm going to go ahead and get these screwed in. So I'll have a bottom plate and a top plate that actually still need to cut. But yeah, so let me get this together and then we'll throw it up to the top. there we go. So basically the whole frame, with the exception of one, possibly even two, because that's a little bit wider span than these are. So this will accommodate for a 24-inch bat. So we plan on doing, what would we say, rock wool? That's what we're going to do?
I think so, yeah.
Because that's a compression fit, and this is actually smaller than what the bat is. So they will have to be trimmed some, but then I'll have to like take some of those trimmings to fill in the stuff in the bottom. So that's why I'm going to have to split this basically into threes, just make 3 equal bays. But I mean, like I said, I'm 5'10", and I made, so even standing on the wood, my head will hit. But just stepping through, I'm like, think.
How did you do it? Think.
Wink. Wink.
Now when you lay them rocks in there.
And yeah, well, by then you're already stepping into the rocks, and then by the time you're stepping on the rocks and stepping up, you're already clear of the doorway. So
you're okay. You're safe.
I'll be all right. But that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to step in here without having to duck, without having to crawl around.
To do maintenance.
And plus, all the filters and everything will be on this wall right here at the door. So won't have to walk in that far. But what do you think about it, baby?
I like it.
Huh? They can't hear you.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it. Finally, you built my house.
I like it. I know. That's what she's saying. She's like, oh, this is going to be my little tiny home. Put a hammock here. Put a hammock there. And I was like, yeah, it's got a loft.
Yeah.
You're silly.
Nah. But yeah, so you got to finish this up, babe.
Get in there.
Get in there.
You need to buy me some more stuff.
I know, right?
She's the one making all the money.
All of it. Oh,
All of
my
it.
goodness. We're so rich.
So rich. No, no, we're not. So, and this is all from basically reclaimed stuff. It's stuff that we've already purchased.
Yeah. So we're just going to, buy more of it
Yeah.
when it comes time. We just needed to use it now so that we can get it out of the weather when winter comes.
And this will, even though I'm building this to be like a super awesome structure, for being a temporary
Well, it's a temporary
shed, right?
here.
Temporary at this location.
Yeah.
So you guys will have to continue to follow the journey to be able to see where this is going next once we are done with it.
In the future.
In the future.
Not now.
Not now.
So when it's built now, it's staying here right now.
Yes. What she said.
Just in case. They're kind of like, what do you mean? You're going to build it here to move it there?
No.
Yeah.
Well, once we are done with it.
Yeah, once we're done with it.
Then it's going to move. So.
Okay, stop confusing them.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to get to these last 2 boards, and then I think I'm going to call it quits for today.
We'll see.
Someone's been making some awesome beans.
Yeah.
And
well,
do we want to show them in this video?
Actually, well, of course, because it's actually going in with it.
Okay. Well,
did he forget?
roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah. on the food. It's been in here for a couple of hours. Time to lift it up. Bring this over here. Oh, nice. Look at the color. Look at that. We have pork and bacon, beans, cilantro, scallops, tomatoes, and a Serrano pepper in there. And a little bit of salt. Not a lot because the pork already has it. So yummy. I'm ready to eat. All right, let's dig in.
It's going to be onto the siding and roofing, which I still need to put some purlins up. And then I'm probably just going to reutilize some of the metal that we have laying around. Just for now, until we can get something a little bit better. But, yeah, I think it's turning out to be all right. I hope you guys enjoyed Gladys's beautiful bean footage. Oh, man, it was so good. That's actually what I get to eat for lunch today because it's a whole new day. And, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and leave y'all with that. So I definitely appreciate you guys for enjoying this build thus far. And if you made it this far, we definitely would appreciate that subscribe. It's always appreciative. You know, the share us out, give us that thumbs up. And just know, too, that once I'm done with this, I'm going to be doing a recap of the build, of only the build, taking out all the other stuff. Because I know that there's people here that they only want to watch the build portion. They don't want to see all that other stuff, right? So I will be doing the recap of only the build. So that'll be for y'all. But we definitely appreciate you guys. So, all right, you can always check out. We have another video here, playlist here. You go check those things out. We have the 2 bubbles up in the top. And last but not least, remember to always thank a veteran at every chance you get. Not only on Veterans Day. And we'll see you on the next one. Later, y'all.